Origin's 11th human flight. I'm Carissa Thompson, and I am so excited to be your host for this webcast as I experience my first launch here in person. And we'll hear from the astronauts and take you right up through the launch and their landing back on Earth. So, without further ado, welcome to Blue Origin.
The human need to explore is deep within all of us. Our ancestors crossed mountain ranges, sailed open oceans to map new lands, and sought out the unknown, while always looking to the stars. We're curious, and now we're at a place where we can pioneer new horizons. Now is the time.
New Shepard has cleared the tower.
To open the promise of space to all.
Guys, we're doing it!
And lay the way for generations to come. When our descendants look to the stars, they'll remember this time. When they reflect on where it started, they'll remember this place. And when they honor those first explorers who said, "Let's go," they'll remember these bold steps. We are of Blue Origin. And this,
Let's do this, New Glenn.
is just the beginning.
And we are live at Launch Site 1 down in West Texas, and we are sitting south of the Guadalupe Mountains and about 30 miles north of the town of Van Horn. It's the home of Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin, which has sent 52 astronauts to space. And in just about an hour and a half, they'll add 6 more to that number. And with that, we welcome everybody into the New Shepard's 11th human flight. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on a beautiful and dark morning. The sun is just about to pop up over there, and I am thrilled to be alongside my broadcast partners for today, space journalist and founder of The Endless Void, Kristen Fisher. And we have Blue Origin's Vice President of In-Space Systems, Ariane Cornell. You guys have been so kind to me as this is my first launch. You are the experts. I'm thrilled to be with both of you today.
Welcome to West Texas. Welcome to Blue Origin.
Thank you.
This is going to be a fun day. First launch is something you will never forget, Carissa.
And, you know, we've been out here for the last 2 days. Something about launch day, it just hits different, right, ladies?
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to be with you as you watch your first launch.
I know, I'm thrilled to be here. But you guys, this is not your first launch, your first rodeo. You have been to many of these. And for you, Ariane, being with the company for a decade, what is so special for you in particular about this one?
You know, I'm so proud to be part of this program for so many reasons, but I think, you know, with New Shepard, we're opening the space flight experience for everybody.
Yeah.
And this one, we've been able to have so many historic flights, but to be able to put 6 women on this launch in this capsule, the first time that has ever been done. You know, I can say, especially since I've got 2 little girls at home watching, one's 6 months, one's 2.5 years old, little girls, they can see that this is a reality, and I'm just very proud to be part of this.
And shout out to your husband who's holding it down at home for you so you could be out here doing your thing.
That's right. Thank you, Michael, for not divorcing me when I get back. Love you, babe.
And hello to your girls as well. Kristen, what's so special for this launch in particular?
You know, I think the focus, understandably, is going to be on the people that are on this mission. I mean, there are some big names on board this flight. And so I think it's really easy to kind of get sucked in to the celebrity of it, right?
Sure.
But to do that would really be missing the point. And for all the people who are saying, well, you know, why should I care about celebrities going to space? This is a really big deal because this type of space flight is what's making space accessible to everyone. And it really fits the pattern of human exploration from the very beginning. First, you send the professional explorers, the military test pilots, then the civilians, the scientists, the engineers, kind of the experts, and then you send everybody else, the singers, the journalists, and the activists. So this really fits a pattern here. We're now seeing it unfold in space, and I'm pumped to watch these 6 women go up today.
History will be made. We are just about about T-minus 1 hour, 25 minutes for launch, the liftoff of NS-31. So why don't we learn a little bit more about the stars of the show today? In seat number 1, Lauren Sanchez. Lauren is an Emmy Award-winning journalist, New York Times best-selling author, pilot, vice chair of the Bezos Earth Fund, and mother of 3. Her goal is to inspire the next generation of explorers. And in seat number 2, Katy Perry. Katy Perry is the biggest selling female artist in Capitol Records history and one of the best-selling music artists of all time. She hopes her journey encourages her daughter and others to reach for the stars, literally and figuratively. Then in seat number 3, as an inspiration for her son and the next generation of dreamers to reach for the stars. So many incredible women. And oh my goodness, look at that shot. Ariane, does that get you fired up, if I may?
No, I love that. What you see is we'll have like excess propellants kind of burning off. That's okay. That's what we're looking at right now is the rocket getting ready. It's getting filled with propellants. Maybe we always want to make sure that the temperature, but also most importantly, the pressure in the vehicle is all set. So that's why sometimes we got a little bit of excess. It's okay.
There will be many times over the next hour and a half I will look at both of my experts and say, what's happening here? So if you guys, like myself, are new to this, don't feel like you don't know anything, because they will make sure that they get you caught up. So I want to start with you, Ariane. Can you speak to how Blue Origin has developed and evolved this process of commercial flights to space?
Sure. So, just 10 years ago, April of 2015 was the first time we launched this rocket ever. NS-1. You see NS-31 on your screen. We've had 30 subsequent flights. We used the first 15 of our launches to test the system. We wanted to stress it to its maximums. A lot more stressful flight profiles than what you're going to see here today, what these ladies are going to experience. We want to make sure that at Blue Origin we completely understood the entire rocket system, the capsule, and not just from a technical perspective, but also from an operational perspective. We want to make sure that our team is well prepared and practiced on this. You know, it's an autonomous system, which means it flies on its own from beginning to end, but there's a very well qualified team behind it to prepare the rocket as well as prepare the astronauts. NS-16, Jeff Bezos went up for the first time July 2021, and we have had a total of 10 human space flights since then, today making our 11th, and today a historic one.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, it should be noted, it's just 6 women there. You know, that's
only 6 women. It's just 6 women in there. Yeah. I know, maybe the wrong choice of words on that one.
No,
but yeah, please go ahead.
No. It's just to me, again, being new to this field, it's like it's them. They're up there alone, but they're never alone because they've got all the great people here at Blue Origin behind them. And we talk about the frequency of these flights. So, Kristen, having covered so many, does it start to feel routine for you?
It totally starts to feel routine, right? But that's exactly the point, to normalize human spaceflight and make it really safe. But, then I have to catch myself and be like, no, there's actually nothing routine about this. There will never be anything totally routine about this, because don't forget what these 6 women are about to do today is strap themselves on top of essentially a controlled explosive, a bomb. Don't tell Gayle King that, right?
No.
Don't let her hear that.
Controlled is the key word I would use with her.
Controlled explosive. There is risk in that. No matter what you do, there is some risk. So you have that to think about. And then you have Blue Origin landing a booster vertically. I mean, that is something that had never been done before until just a few years ago. Truly the stuff of science fiction now come to life. So yes, it does become routine, but it's also routine and extraordinary all at once.
Well, I feel so grateful that we're not just sitting in a studio talking about this.
I know.
This isn't a green screen behind us, ladies and gentlemen. We are here on the ground. So many amazing things around us. So just to orientate the viewer, where are we exactly? Well, a couple days ago, I caught up with one of our astronauts. As I mentioned earlier, Lauren Sanchez is a pilot, and she gave me an aerial tour of Launch Site 1 here in West Texas.
This is West Texas, the home of Blue Origin, and it's just this vast, incredible space.
Where did your love of flying come from, Lauren?
My dad. So
He was a pilot.
My dad was a pilot, is still a pilot. He's 84 and still teaching how to fly.
Wow.
And I love it. Flying to me is complete freedom. You're at the controls, you're seeing the world from a different perspective. Okay, first look to the left.
Okay.
That's where the booster is going to land, right on that spot right there.
Wow.
Isn't that so cool?
Oh,
Counterclockwise. Catch your
my goodness.
Yeah. And then look, and then our capsule is going to land somewhere in this vast open space.
I can only imagine how you're feeling in the sense that when you sit here in the pilot seat and you fly this helicopter, and then in 2 days you're going to be going to space. Like that, it just blows my mind.
It blows my mind. And I can't believe that we get this opportunity. It's really not about going to space. I think it's about what all of these women are going to bring back. The stories that they're going to be able to tell, the lives that they're going to be able to touch. And also, it's just fun.
Yeah.
Like, we get to do something that's fun. And I'm really excited about that.
Pictures love you.
This is where the rocket takes off, by the way. What's really cool about the Blue Origin rocket is that it's hydrogen and oxygen. So guess what the exhaust is?
Clean.
Water.
Clean. Yeah.
Water.
Why is now the time to do this, Lauren?
Why not?
Yeah.
Now is the time because Blue Origin is making it possible. And it's going to get more and more accessible with each passing year. Being able to share this experience is really what it's all about. And Aisha, Amanda, Gayle, Katy, Carrie Ann, being able to share it with the kind, generous powerhouse of women is what makes it all worth it. It really does.
Now, as you sit here just a couple days away from going to space, piloting your own helicopter, it says so much about you. Don't know where your dreams are going to take you, but you're here and it's your reality.
And it's the most incredible adventure ever, and that's life.
It's so impressive that she does that, and while answering my questions for an interview. So we will hear more from Lauren later on in the show. But right now, let's welcome in the fourth member of our broadcast team, Blue Origin's Tabitha Lipkin is over at the Astronaut Training Center. Tabitha, good morning to you. And I know that you got a front row seat there seeing the astronauts as they arrived bright and early today. What is the vibe of the New Shepard crew this morning now that the morning is finally here?
Oh, there is so much energy here. In fact, I've already heard happy screams coming from inside the Astronaut Training Center. And these women are feeling all the feels, right? This is a very human emotion to feel energy, excitement, a dash of anxiety as you kind of teeter on the edge of history. But these women are all rock stars in their own fields, whether they are performers, storytellers, advocates, or engineers. So they are now bound together with this thread of this moment in time, just about to take off into space. Now, I had the immense pleasure, by the way, of getting to talk to these astronauts this past weekend when they were in all of the fields. And I want to actually highlight two different astronauts, Amanda Wynn and Carrie Ann Flynn. And they talked a lot about what this mission really means for them.
Who were you ringing that bell for?
You know, all astronauts ring a bell before boarding our
crew capsule, our spaceship, and it traces back to the nautical tradition of ringing aboard sailors. My family learned celestial navigation in order to find their way to freedom on that refugee boat. And so when I ring that bell, I will be thinking of Hiekwa, Goba, Iyo, Mea, the 4 that were chosen in my family to go into death to seek life.
What you think this will mean for women around the world, but also for sexual assault survivors?
You know, when I fly, I'm flying, of course, to represent my community. I'm so proud to be the first Vietnamese, first Southeast Asian woman, and I'm also proud to be a survivor who is healing. You know, this journey really is about healing. It's just that my healing takes me to the stars, across the Kármán line. When I fly, I want all survivors to know that you will make it through.
First off, who are you looking forward to once you come down being able to share your experience with?
I'm really looking forward to sharing this experience with my mom. Growing up, she was a teacher. She put that on pause to raise her family, and then she was an entrepreneur. And I just, I'm really excited to be able to share this experience with her. She's been on this journey with me emotionally, and I think it's important, you know, to honor the women that raised us and inspired us, and you know, it's a little bit of giving back when we can share our successes with them.
What about a message to so many kids who are watching? One of the partnerships and nonprofits a part of Blue Origin is Club for the Future. So do you have a message for the kids who are excited to watch this launch, a historic launch?
Believe in yourself, dream big, and don't let anyone tell you no. It's never too late to fulfill your dreams.
So some powerful words that you've heard from our astronauts already. And as I said, it is an exciting and active scene here. This is really a generational event. And throughout the morning, we are going to check back in and hear more from the rest of our astronauts. Carissa?
Thank you so much, Tabitha. And yeah, we're going to be checking in with you all day long leading up to launch as well. Thank you so much for that. So, Ariane, obviously a whole new experience for these ladies, right? Walk us through, myself included, since this is my first launch. What have these women been, you know, going through, and how have they prepared for today's launch?
Sure. So for our astronaut training program, we have our astronauts arrive on site 3 days in advance. And they go through just 2 days of training. It's 2 intense days of training, but really that is all that they need. So what are some things that we walk them through? You know, what we call ingress and egress, just fancy words for saying how to get into the capsule, how to get into your seat, how to buckle your harness. That's really important. It's a 5-point harness, much like a race car harness. How to get out of your seat. You just kind of turn the click on the button on the harness to get out. How do you also get out of the capsule? We go through emergency procedures, obviously hoping nothing, you know, they don't need to use them, but all of this is about getting them acclimated. More of that. We get them situated with our launch site. We take them out to the tower. We had the good fortune of going up to the top of the tower a couple of days ago. Well, let me throw it back to you. Even with the rocket there, without the rocket there, you felt something, right?
Oh, yeah. Going up in that elevator, I was like, oh, my goodness. I can only imagine how they felt. But the importance for them, you know, again, in my world of football and sports, it's the run through. Here we are at the top there. And the rocket, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, Ariane, will be right behind where we're standing, right? That's
precisely, sort of that is the gantry that goes out and connects with the capsule. Yeah.
Yeah, but a walkthrough, right? It's important for them to get acclimated so they're not doing it for the first time when they're about to go to space. So very cool. So much has went into it. We even got to peek in yesterday a little bit of the astronaut training, and I got the great fortune of going in the capsule and sitting in the seat. It's an incredible experience. But you mentioned those 2 days, and safety, of course, always top of mind here at Blue Origin and in space flight. So, Kristen, how does New Shepard stack up against some of the other spacecraft?
It's got a great track record. And, you know, if I'm Gayle King, again, I'm going to talk about Gayle King a lot today.
Who has admittedly said she's very nervous.
She's nervous about it, which I find so refreshing. You know, you don't always hear that from the professional astronauts about to go to space. She's admitted that she's nervous. So if I'm nervous, I would feel a lot better knowing that the rocket that they're about to fly on has an abort system or an escape system. And not only does it have that, but it has been tested and worked in real life multiple times. And so for those of you who have perhaps never watched a space flight before, the rocket split into two parts. You have the booster on the bottom and the crew capsule where the astronauts are on the top. And so in an abort, or if something were to go wrong, the capsule could jettison away from the explosive, from the rocket itself. So that's critical because it means that the astronauts could get to safety. And as Ariane and I have been talking about, it's been tested 3 times, at multiple times during the ascent, and they actually tested it in real life once back in 2022 when there was an in-flight anomaly, and it worked. So
that was not, to be clear, that was not a test. That was, we actually used
real thing.
it. So it's not like we had set up this scene for us to test it. It worked perfectly.
And it was uncrewed, right? But
Correct.
if astronauts had been inside, they would have been fine.
Those payloads actually came out quite nice.
Yeah.
We had some scientific experiments in there that really enjoyed the flight.
Yeah, safety being paramount. Well, as I have admitted here, this is my first launch. I'm learning so much and have learned so much from you guys with your generosity over the last few days and months. But my day job is an NFL host for pregame shows, and I work with a guy named Michael Strahan. You might know who he is. Well, guess what? He became an astronaut when he flew up to space on New Shepard 19, and he has some words of encouragement for today's crew.
Hey, ladies, it's Michael Strahan. I just wanted to say good luck on your amazing flight today. It was life-changing for me. I hope it's life-changing for all of you. Cannot wait to see, because I experienced the joy I know that you're going to have. I hope you just go up, just take it all in. Enjoy just looking down on the planet. Enjoy being weightless. Enjoy being together. That's the biggest thing, because it's a bond that will last a lifetime. So good luck. Have fun. Looking forward to seeing you when you're back on the ground. Welcome to the Space Crew.
This guy, what a guy, as he's at his other job on GMA there in the morning show. But yeah, he can do it all, but a really cool experience. And he came back and had told me after he did that he didn't even know how much he needed it until he did it. A really special thing that these women are about to experience. So Ariane, what are some of the top reasons people tell you that they choose to fly specifically with Blue Origin?
So first and foremost, a lot of them come to us saying, this is a dream I've had since I was a child. And they are so ecstatic that finally they have the opportunity to fly, and to fly now. You know, you can, it has taken so long for us to get here, and so now they can actually buy a ticket. I'd say the second thing is we do get those adrenaline junkies who have been like, I've been to the top of Everest, I've been to the bottom of the Mariana Trench, you know, I've flown in a MiG fighter jet, but there is no other way of getting this sensation, both from you're going Mach 3 times the speed of sound, but also you're getting this insane view from up in space. So
I'm so jealous. I'm glad you. Thank you. You teed me up for the sign up, because guess what? It is as easy. I can't believe I'm about to say this, as scanning a QR code. If you want to go to space, scan that QR code right there on your screen. This is, my goodness.
It's like going to a restaurant and,
you want to see the menu or you want to go to space. But here you go. You can join the manifest and book your flight on New Shepard. It is as easy as that. Absolutely incredible. But for those of you just joining us, my name is Carissa Thompson alongside Kristen Fisher and Ariane Cornell, and we will be taking you through the launch of New Shepard 31, Blue Origin's 11th human flight. And in just T-minus an hour and 6 minutes, our crew of 6 women, Aisha Bowe, Carrie Ann Flynn, Gayle King, Amanda Wynn, Katy Perry, and Lauren Sanchez will emerge from right behind me. Now that the sun's up, we can show you. Astronaut training is over my shoulder here. They'll emerge from the door where we saw Tabitha a little bit earlier, and they'll hop into Rivians and drive down what I love, the road to space. Literally and figuratively, New Shepard 31 will take off in an hour and 5 minutes. So right now, we're going to hear from another one of our astronauts, Tabitha Lipkin, caught up with Katy Perry.
A big part of your life, of course, is your daughter, Daisy. Yeah. I want to know, does she kind of have a concept of what's happening, or like, what are your feelings around sharing this with her?
I mean, she's 4.5, so she's still trying to figure out what day of the week it is.
Sure.
But it is very normal, for us to talk about mommy going to space now. And I will be so excited to hold her when I land.
Do you have a message for your family in this moment? It's okay. Yeah, no stress.
I'm going to be very emotional this weekend, of course.
Yeah, it's an emotional thing. It's a big journey.
It's huge. My message is that I love them. And
I can tell. You've got so much love in your heart, and I appreciate you sharing that with me, especially in this moment. Take all the time you want.
The message to my family is that I love them so much, and I'm so full of love, and I am so grateful to be representing a fearless female in my family, which is a domino effect from my mom, from my sister, and definitely something I feel from my daughter.
What are you taking with you to space?
I'm taking bracelets that represents the pillars of my foundation that I started with my sister called the Firework Foundation. I'm bringing almost 300 of them so that I can bring them back home for the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders that get to come to Camp Firework.
They're going to be so excited.
They're going to be very excited. It's really for those kids to inspire them as well, to never put limitations on their dreams. I'm going to be bringing a daisy, a real-life daisy from the Earth, to remind us that the Earth is very precious. I'm also launching a tour on April 23rd in Mexico, and I'll be on tour for the rest of the year. And I think it would be pretty cool to reveal my set list for that tour in space.
Is that what you're going to do?
I just might.
We can look forward to it.
Just on a little
nugget?
Little nugget, yeah.
So with that,
take advantage of it.
Like, what's your message to your fans?
Thanks for being on this journey of a lifetime with me, and what a ride it already has been and will continue to be. Obviously, buckle up.
Oh, I love seeing her vulnerable, right? I mean, we always see her, she's tough, she's all this, but showing that emotion, that's a real thing. I saw her little daughter Daisy yesterday, and she's wearing her all pink astronaut suit, and she keeps going around being like, my mom's going to space. It's such a cool thing. And for all of you Katy Perry fans out there, I know there are a lot of them watching. It must be cool to see that, and revealing the set list, which is also very cool up in space. But Kristen, today marks the first all-female crew on a Blue Origin flight. What does that mean specifically for you?
It hits home because, my mom was a member of NASA's original 6, NASA's first class of women astronauts. Dr. Annalee Fisher there, and that's my dad, Dr. Bill Fisher on the right, who is also an astronaut. And,
which is incredible, by the way. Like, both of your parents being astronauts is just, wow.
And they both, I'm actually wearing the necklace that they both flew into space today.
Wow.
And so with my mom, it took that entire class, NASA's first 6 women astronauts, it took them 2.5 years for all 6 to fly into space.
You're adorable.
And
it's so cute.
And now Blue Origin is sending 6 women into space in a single day. I mean, that's progress right there. And then on top of that, my mom was the first mom in space. I was 15 months old when my mom flew. And so I'm really relating to little Daisy, Katie's 4-year-old today. But, back then when she flew in 1984, there was some people thought it was really impressive and incredible what she was doing, but other people were like, my gosh, how can you leave your 15-month-old baby back on Earth? And so today, here we have 4 moms, 2 mothers at the desk, a grandmother going up in space.
Yeah.
I mean, it's truly generational progress, and it's just so cool to see. And I got to shout out to my daughter, Clara, who's watching at home, who is so upset that she can't be here today because she wanted to meet Katy Perry. But hey, you got to go to school. So
I got to go to school.
I should mention to you that actually we at Blue Origin, we've got these what we call our business resource groups. So they're groups that you can join as the employees, and we've got one for the Black community, the Latin community. But we also have one for the parents at Blue, and we call it New Fisher. Oh. We've got New Glen, New Shepherd, etc. It's called New Fisher. There's the patch.
It even has a patch. I just found out about this yesterday, by the way.
Don't worry, we'll get you on. We'll get you. So it is so important, you know, what your mother has done and what these women are doing today.
Well, and you know, ultimately, if space is about, if we're here to open up space to everybody, you know, someday in the future, it's not just going to be, you know, adults that go into space. It's going to be kids too, and entire families. So that really is also what today is about. The start of all that.
It is. It's really special, and I love that it's getting light, so you guys can really get a full scope of what's going on behind us. And with that, we're going to send it back over to Tabitha Lipkin, who's moved over to the viewing platform where friends and family will watch today's launch. And Tabitha, one of today's astronauts, had a connection to Blue Origin before she even joined the crew. Tell us more about that.
Oh, and it is such a beautiful connection. So I want to focus on Aisha Bowe for a moment. I mean, she just embodies what it means to be multidimensional, right? She talks about going from community college to space. She's representing the Bahamas, and she helped founded projects like STEMboard and Lingo. But within being multidimensional, she also was a mentor for an employee right here at Blue Origin who helped build the very rocket she is about to take off on. What was it like when you put the flight suit on?
Gosh. Okay, the flight suit, first of all, we look good. It's amazing. Like, as I pulled up the zipper, I felt like a superhero. And then I just reflected on my life and the journey to the flight suit. My 92-year-old grandfather is making the journey to see the flight. And where he was born in the Bahamas, they didn't have aircraft. He used to ride his horse around all the time. And so now he's taking an airplane to come see me fly to space. And that was at the top of my mind when I was zipping up the suit.
What is your connection? You mentioned this briefly when you were at NASA. There was an intern who now actually works here at Blue Origin, and you guys are tied in together. I want to know that story.
I went to an aviation museum day for young girls who were interested in aerospace, and I met Claire Luce. And she said, I want to be an aerospace engineer. And she asked if she could come visit. And I was like, yes, of course. Well, that one day turned into me mentoring her, and that 13-year-old girl became a 16-year-old who had an internship at NASA, who then decided to become an aerospace engineer. And today, Claire is working on the very same rocket engine I'm going to fly on. And so to know that when I step in that rocket, that someone who I've known since she was 13 has had her hand in making sure it's safe means all the world to me.
I mean, just an incredible story, right? To have that connection with Claire. And you know, Aisha's also been a big proponent of Club for the Future, which is Blue Origin's nonprofit, where you can get free space-related lessons, but also we're sending postcards to space. And Aisha specifically is sending postcards all the way from India, Kenya, the Bahamas, and all across the United States. Pretty remarkable.
Oh, that's such a great story. Thank you, Tabitha. We will check back in with you in just a little bit. But in seat number 1 will be Lauren Sanchez, who has seen her fair share of human flights from the ground. And I had a chance to catch up with her to discuss her flight to space.
You know, we talked even years ago about the idea of you guys doing this, and now it's coming to fruition. So take me through that journey, the all-female space crew, sort of, and how we got from the idea to it actually becoming a reality.
All-female space crew, can you believe it? Can you believe it? I can't believe it. I mean, it's really, I hear that, and I have so much gratitude that we're able to do this. Mm-hmm. And it all started when I came here and watched Jeff go up. He came back more grounded, more like alive.
Which is interesting, right? You go to space to become more grounded when you come back down to Earth.
It's so true, though. I always say, you know, it's not about going to space. It's about what we bring back. And I get to go with 5 incredible women, explorers, but storytellers, to inspire a new generation to be interested in space exploration, to inspire a new generation to explore. When you explore, you also bring out the curiosity in someone, and curiosity leads to solving problems.
I look at your story, and you've been so open about your dyslexia. And now here it is that the teacher that diagnosed you with dyslexia is going to be at your launch when you go to space. Why is it so important that your teacher is here for this moment, Lauren?
Gratitude. Where I am right now is in part because of her. I was always told, you know, oh, you don't belong. You don't belong. I was a female in sports. You don't belong here. Do you know what I mean? I was a journalist and I was a really young journalist. You don't belong here. Like, you're always told you don't belong. But the problem is, you know, people get told that all the time. I was starting to believe it. And that's what this is for all those girls out there that feel, or for anyone out there who feels they don't belong. If you're there, you belong there.
I love that. Has Jeff told you what you could expect? What has he shared with you about his experience?
He told me that it's going to change me more than I know.
And
I believe him.
Yeah.
He goes, I can't even explain to you how you're going to be changed, but you will be changed.
What would you tell the little girl in the back of the classroom that is scared to go up to the front and do the class presentation or answer the question? What would you tell that little girl as you sit here just a few days away from going on this incredible adventure?
It's okay to be nervous. It's okay not to be the best. It's just okay, and you belong here.
I love her. It is worth mentioning, you guys, that going up with Lauren on her flight will be a Teachers in Space student experiment inspired by students across the United States, which will measure things like acceleration, sound, temperature, pressure, and a whole lot more. Scan the QR code. This is a different QR code, though, than going to space. And send your message to space and access free space-related lessons for educators. All right, you guys, as we await the astronauts coming out of training center to get onto that road to space, again, full admission, this is my first launch. I don't know how this whole thing works. So, Kristen, I want to start with you. Explain to everybody that's watching for the first time and someone like myself how this is all going to go down today.
Well, I think when most people think about going to space, they think about going up into orbit and actually orbiting the Earth. We're not going to be seeing that today. What we're going to be seeing is a suborbital space flight, meaning up and back, no orbit of the Earth. And so total time for this mission, only about 10 or 11 minutes. And so it's going to start on the left-hand side of your screen. That is liftoff. Then there are two parts to this spacecraft. You have the rocket booster on the bottom and the crew capsule on top, which is where our 6 astronauts are going to be. It is going to ascend. It is going to cross the Kármán line, that invisible boundary that delineates Earth's atmosphere from outer space. That is the moment that these 6 women will officially become astronauts. And then it will descend down. On the left, in the middle there, you can see after the booster and the capsule separates, the booster is going to come back and land vertically. I mean, again, this is something that has not been done until just a few years ago. Incredibly difficult to do. And then that crew capsule is going to descend with the assist of 3 big parachutes and come down to a nice, cushy landing on the desert floor. Again, total
you make
time,
it sound so
10
easy.
to 11 minutes, right? I mean, it's going to happen really fast.
It will happen really, really fast. I should note on the booster, so we made history with this New Shepard rocket, not the exact tail that we're flying today, but we were the first organization to ever land a rocket from space and reuse it, and that happened just 2 miles north was the launch pad, 2 miles beyond that was the landing pad where all of that happened. It was really exciting. These women, though, I should say, while it feels it still is a rocket launch. This thing is it's gonna rattle, it's gonna rumble, it is loud. There is this, the sights and sounds of this experience for them, it is real.
I would love to have you expand upon that a little bit more, since until I scan the QR code and get an opportunity to go up to space, I would love to know what that feels like. So do you equate it to you're in a roller coaster? I mean, walk us through how, my goodness, I guess we're just being told, look at that. Gayle
first astronaut
jumped into the Rivian right there. And so walk us through this process now, Ariane. So now that they're going to load up the astronauts in the cars, what's going to happen next?
Sure. So the astronauts, here you see Amanda coming out.
Here
There's Lauren.
Carrie Ann.
So they're going to there's Katy and Aisha. So they're all going to get into the Rivians. Look at Gayle bouncing up and down. She doesn't look nervous at all. She's ready to go. So they're going to get into the Rivians. They're going to drive just behind us. We can already see the friends and family starting to line the road to give them one last shout out. They've got bells. They're going to be cheering along. They are going to then pass right behind us. right in front of Mission Control.
Look at Katy.
Look at Katy. Look, she is ready.
And I should note,
there's Lauren. There we go.
For all of you just now joining us, this is the first time that we're getting to see our astronauts, or the soon-to-be astronauts, today. And there's Jeff Bezos right there, Blue Origin CEO and founder.
That's right. Jeff is going to be driving one of those Rivians out there. The other one in the foreground you see there, backing up, that is Sarah Knight's.
And I interrupt you just right now because we're about to go to Go Poll for astronaut load. Let's take a listen.
7. Moving on, Capcom. Go. Engineering. Go, Greg Morris.
I love that. Katy with the final wave there as they load up. So again, Ariane, they load up here, and then what happens next?
Right, so they're loading into the Rivians here. You saw Katy waving because we already have, as I mentioned, the friends and family that are lining this road to give them one last kiss and hug. They will cross behind us in front of Mission Control, give a wave or a salute to our Mission Control team that's going to be taking care of them today. They're then going to take a left. At the top of the screen there, you saw the barn where we keep the booster. They're going to take a left there, and that begins the road to space. As mentioned, it's a 2-mile road that goes directly out to the launch pad. There you see the road to space, an image of it. They are going to be, those Rivians go pretty fast, I should say. Those are like kind of warm-up rocket ships as you head out there. They will then go around the launch tower, get out, take a very quick photo, and then get back in the Rivians and go up the tower into what is the safety shelter, where they will wait a couple of minutes before they get into the rocket.
Oh,
There's
I love
Aisha.
Aisha. She said, I'm going to stick my head out the window. They were joking about that yesterday, and she's actually doing it. But such a fun moment. Lauren, right there. Jeff is driving. How exciting. You know, this has been something, as I mentioned to Lauren, she was talking about years ago that she wanted to do this, and now it's actually happening. It's got to be very exciting for them.
Yeah, and
Katy's
sticking her head out too, going to give a little wave to her daughter Daisy. They're all sticking their heads out the window.
It's too bad that all three of them are so shy, you know?
Well, and you know, we often talk about how it is oftentimes more difficult for the people who are left behind on Earth, their friends and family, to watch this, to watch your loved one going into space.
That's what Lauren said. She said, when I was waiting for Jeff to come back, I was so nervous because, you know, you can't control anything. So seeing her right now, I imagine that emotion is much different than, you know, than what he's probably experiencing. Yeah. But either way, so much fun. Look at that, all the friends and family there to cheer them on as they head out.
You know, one of the other nice things about not having to go into orbit for a multi-day mission is you don't have to go in quarantine.
Right.
You can actually be with your friends and family right up until the moment of launch.
Such a good point. For those of you just joining us, Carissa Thompson, Kristen Fisher, Ariane Cornell, and Tabitha Lipkin here for coverage of New Shepard 31, Blue Origin's 11th human flight. You're looking at all the future astronauts, right? We can't call them astronauts yet until they pass that Kármán.
Well, our crew, our all-female crew.
Yeah, our
soon-to-be astronauts.
Soon-to-be astronauts as they make their way out to the road to space here in T-minus 46 minutes as we count down here. How does this compare, Ariane and Kristen, having seen so many launches to some of the other ones that you've seen?
Well, I think to Kristen's point, you know, this is, you know, for let's say a NASA launch, you know, they have to be quarantined. You kind of wave from afar. The families.
This is a parade.
Yeah, it's a parade. They're really integrated into this experience because, as I mentioned, when these people go to space, so often it's, I've been dreaming about doing this since I was a little boy or a little girl, and the family and the friends come along this journey in supporting these people. And so to be able to have them there right up just into the last minutes like this is really important. And we knew when we designed this whole astronaut program that incorporation of the families and the friends was going to be very, very important.
Why was it so important?
Well, I think among other things, precisely these aren't, these are not people that have trained for years and years and years, right? They are pretty normal people. They're not quite as elite, let's say, Kristen, as your parents. They're not fighter pilots. You've got people that are very normal, like Gayle has been very clear about her emotions and her nervousness. We want them to have the support and the love of their friends and family.
And this is a moment that will change their lives forever. It is a moment, getting that chance to see the Earth from space is something that will forever change their perspective. They will come back slightly different people. And so for a moment like that, and here they come.
Yeah, as
right
they're
by our stage.
right over our shoulder here is our set as we wave to the incredible women here. And each crew names themselves, right, Ariane? So this crew has named themselves the 6
ladies,
that are taking up space right here.
Godspeed.
Good luck. I love it. I love it. Well, I think what's so fun about this, to your previous point about this full experience and getting access to see them and send them up, it has to give them some comfort, right? I mean, you're going to do something that is so out of your comfort zone, that to see and to be around people that you know and that you love on your way out to the road to space is really special. And also just being here the last couple of days, you really have an appreciation that, yes, of course, the focus is on these 6 women, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the experience that I've had. Even you took us into Mission Control yesterday, and just meeting them. There's 10,000 employees here at Blue Origin, and all of the men and women whose lifelong goal it was to work at a company like this, and all their schooling, and just some of the most intelligent people that you'll ever meet, and all the hard work. I mean, this is not a small thing that is happening, and all of these people have dedicated their lives to moments like this. And so I just want to make sure we acknowledge that this is such a group effort to put these women into space for the first time.
I should say, of all the interviews and press that I saw Gayle King do prior to this launch, one of my favorites was Mae Jemison, the first black woman into space, and she made a very clear point. She's like, there's going to be lots of emotions on, I want to say game day, on launch day.
It is game day.
On launch day, but as you can see, she's got tears in her eyes already, and just know that you have some of literally the world's most intelligent people that are taking care of you, that are watching this rocket, not just today, that the energy that has been put into this vehicle over the last several years, the several months that have been taken to plan this mission, and in the last final days and hours as we check the vehicle, we only send them out there and only send them up into space when everything is ready. We take this very, very seriously. And as Kristen said, this feels like it's getting a bit routine, but every mission is not routine for us. We make sure that we take it seriously. It is routine, I should say, but it is...
That's a good thing.
It's a good thing, and our team is paying attention, and no detail is missed on the day of.
And there's a saying that spaceflight is a team sport. And, it's not, there's so much focus on the astronauts, but it really is a team sport. And I think we really got a sense for that yesterday going into Mission Control.
For those of you just joining us, Carissa, Kristen, Ariane here, Tabitha with the friends and family, and then we see the astronauts here. They have loaded up from the Astronaut Training Center. They're in the Rivians, going at quite a speed, I will say, on the road to space, which is
shot. Look at that
really
sunrise.
beautiful. I was just going to say, which is such a beautiful shot there, the aerial view from our helicopters. But, there's been conversation leading up to this, and I loved, Kristen, you had pointed out when you get asked, like, well, why do this? And you had said something that I thought was so interesting. It's like, well, then why travel? You know, you say it more eloquently than I
There
can.
is, of course, criticism, right? Like, why should we care about this? Why should we care about your average person, even though these women are not average? Why should we care about them or celebrities going to space? Or why should we even be going to space, period? And my answer to that is, well, why do we travel? Why go to Paris? Why go to London? Why go to Japan? It's because it does something to you that's different than just looking at a photograph. You experience it in a different way, and it changes your perspective. It makes you a better person. It makes you understand other cultures and civilizations and other people. It makes you have more sympathy. And you hear about the overview effect that these astronauts often talk about when they come back to Earth, and that is where you don't see Earth with borders anymore, and you realize that we are all just one. So I'm excited to see what they have to say.
And I'm excited. Look, the moment has come here. So Ariane, walk our audience through sort of what happens next as they are approaching.
Sure. So they have just driven down the road to space, the 2 miles. They're going to go to the north end of that circle and jump out of their Rivians and take a cool shot, a photo that is, with the rocket in the background. Again, all of this is very tightly choreographed, and we want to make sure that they do this quickly so that they can get back in the Rivians, go back around the circle to the base of the tower. At that point, we're going to get them into the elevator that will take them up to the south tower. That's the one in the background. They will enter into the safety shelter where they will spend a couple of minutes there while our crew, the Blue Origin crew that is up on the tower, gives the final thumbs up that they are ready to load the crew into the capsule itself. You know, this is safety is paramount at Blue Origin, so we want the minimum number of people out there next to the rocket for the least amount of time. So we keep it fast. We keep all these procedures tight.
But we got to do a quick photo shoot by the rocket. I mean,
so good.
It's history, you know. We got to capture that moment. And again, for those of you just joining us, this is something that I was not aware of. That beautiful rocket right there, News Shepherd, didn't come out until this morning, right? So explain a little bit more for those people that are just tuning in, sort of how the setup works.
Sure, that is correct. So at about 2 o'clock this morning Central Time, we rolled the vehicle out there. You see on the truck. With the capsule already what we call mated to the rocket. You'll see here in a moment the rocket, it goes very slowly, just want to make sure we take care of our baby as well. Goes out there, the truck will turn the vehicle vertical, and at that point we connect all the pipes and the hoses to the vehicle, and we start loading the vehicle with propellant. Right there, it's empty. That's for safety and security reasons. That's also, it makes it easier to turn vertical. We'll load the vehicle with propellants all the way up to the last moment. We put in there, you heard it earlier in our webcast, liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. Those are the two propellants that fire into what we call our BE3 engine, our Blue Engine 3. And our team in Mission Control from that point on has got their eyes glued to their monitors to make sure that the propellants in the tank stay within bounds, within temperature bounds, within pressure bounds.
As they make their way here onto, they'll take the elevator, right? They won't take the stairs.
That is correct. Yeah. So we just inserted the elevator relatively recently. It makes it a little bit more comfortable as you're going up to the top of the tower. You know, we're at about 3,000 feet above ground level in altitude up here in a dry, dusty desert. We just want to make it a little bit easier for them.
And it's worth noting, too, so the 6 women are headed up. We saw Jeff is with them as well, but also crew member 7. Explain to those at home who crew member 7 is.
Right. It's like, well, if you don't mind, I'm going to use a football reference for you, Aaron. And we come, I called you Aaron like your girl. Sorry. Oh, my goodness.
We're often confused.
Oh, my goodness. So it's like the 12th man in Seattle. This is like the 7th crew member. There's 6 crew members that are going obviously in the capsule. But nobody from Blue Origin will be in the capsule. It'll be the crew member 7 that has been training them. We saw Sarah Knights as the second driver in addition to Jeff Bezos. And then, a little confusing, we've got a second crew member 7 who is going to be on Capcom, or capsule communicator. Today, her name is Laura Stiles. She will be the person that is in our astronauts' ears, communicating with them, making sure everything's going okay, also telling them, hey, this is when you can unbuckle, and this is when you can...
That's her right there.
That's Sarah Knight's right there, exactly.
And now we are looking at what?
So now the crew, as well as you see Jeff Bezos there, have gone into the safety shelter, and we're gonna wait there. You see Sarah Knight on the right. She's gonna just communicate with the Blue Origin team that is at the other tower just next to the rocket to make sure that everything is set and sorted for them to do their final load. This happens very shortly here. We clock it at about T-minus 35 minutes, but we'll only do one already.
And in case some of you are wondering what a safety room is or why it's there, it's, again, what Ariane was talking about. You want to keep these astronauts as safe as possible for as long as possible. Of course, they'll be safe when they actually get in the rocket, but just in case anything were to go wrong, we had the chance to go inside this room a few days ago, and it is, is it a bomb-proof room? Do you want to say that? I mean, it is.
It is.
Yeah, and you feel it when you're in there. You're like, oh gosh, now
this
it
is
feels real.
Yeah.
And after going up that elevator, you know, for us, I think that's the moment where we weren't even going into space, and all three of us were like, whoa,
okay,
it gets real serious.
Yeah,
but I love the access that we obviously have in being able to see these women before they go up. For those of you just joining us, we are T-minus 34 minutes to launch for NS-31, Blue Origin's 11th human flight. As you can see there, a little live look in as them saying some words before they take off. Yeah. So I know that we had started to expand upon it and then took a shot of the astronauts. So what will they feel? Sort of walk us through the physical part of what they'll experience, Ariane, once they are in the capsule.
So once they're in the capsule and they're ready for takeoff, first they'll hear the engine when it ignites. It sounds like a pop. Everybody, listening will also hear that. It sounds like a pop, and the engine roars. We hold the rocket down for about 7 seconds. Make sure it's all ramped up. And during that period, that can actually be one of the most, frankly, nerve-wracking times, because you start to, if you're in the capsule, you start to see the glow of the flame. And here they come.
Here we go.
Loading into the capsule.
And the significance here of the bell, and I should note before I have you explain that, each crew names themselves. They have named themselves the 6 taking up space, as each one is ringing a bell. And the significance of that is what, Ariane?
This is one of our traditions. All astronauts throughout history in various programs have had their traditions. For us, we always want our astronauts to ring the bell. Above there, you see, light this candle. Those were the last words that Alan Shepard said right before he went to space. Alan Shepard, of course, the namesake of our vehicle. He was the first American into suborbital space. And we just like to let the stars know that we've got some people heading their way.
Absolutely. As they load in, I will... In my world, we call it an audible here. Just if we have any sound from mission control or anything, I'd love to take a peek at what's going on in there and just give the folks at home some idea of what's happening there. There we go.
There we go.
So we don't have sound of it, but we can see all of the brain behind this beast.
But I could tell you, Carissa, other than a couple of discussion points on the radio, honestly, it's about this quiet when you're in there.
Really? That surprises me, because you would think, like, in a control room in TV, it's a chaos, right? In the best way, but in there, it's quiet.
And honestly, chaos is, quite frankly, the last word I would use to describe our mission control. This team, they're working through very specific procedures on a very specific timeline. They've done their own rehearsals over and over again. We also want to keep the communication line open if anything, if anybody's got to call it out. But it is a very well choreographed team we've got.
And, you know, when folks are wondering, you know, what exactly are these soon-to-be astronauts doing when they're in these 2 days of training leading up to this space flight, it is exactly this.
Simulating
right?
everything.
They have done dress rehearsals and dry runs of everything that you're seeing here. They practice over and over, getting inside this capsule, strapping themselves in. And, you know, one of the biggest things that they have to remember to do is when they get those, remember, they only get 4 minutes of weightlessness, 4 precious minutes. They have to unbuckle and then buckle back in at the exact right moment. So those are some of the things that they're learning to do and practicing while they're training in that building right behind us.
As we look at New Shepard 31, the 31st mission, the 11th human flight here for Blue Origin. We are T-minus 30 minutes. Carissa Thompson, Kristen Fisher, Ariane Cornell with us, and Tabitha Lipkin at the tower. I am going to be leaving here in just a few minutes. I'm going to go to Fallback 3, an area. Then I will wait for the capsule to land. I'll wait for the recovery team to come out and then bring you interviews from each of our astronauts as they arrive back here on Earth. I cannot wait for that. Again, we've seen them load now into the capsule, and I just would love, you know, some more play-by-play, Ariane, of sort of what now this process looks like, as it's all new to me. And for any of you that are also joining us for your first launch, welcome. And now we'll let the experts tell us what's going on.
So you saw them loading. You saw them loading into the capsule. They are getting into their seats. They're getting into their harnesses. It's a 5-point harness, so clicking them all in.
All right, we're hearing that Capcom right now. Sorry to interrupt you, Ariane, which is short for Capsule Communicator, and ready to do the astronaut comm check. So let's take a listen. Laura Stiles has the mic.
Great. Right. Right.
Welcome back, everybody. We are at T-minus 26 minutes and 50 seconds to go until NS-31. Blue Origin's 31st mission for our New Shepard rocket, our 11th human flight. I'm Ariane Cornell here with Kristen Fisher at the desk. Carissa Thompson has left to get into place for her viewing spot for the launch. We are waiting on Capcom, or the capsule communicator, to run the comms check with our astronauts. But Kristen, we were just talking a second ago about what's going on here. You see our crew member 7, Sarah Knights, who's coming out of the capsule there. She has helped load our crew into the capsule, has done just a double check, making sure those seatbelts are nice and tight, as well as make sure that the earpieces and everything are set for our astronauts. I should note, just as we give kind of we got this beautiful aerial shots this morning of the rocket. We have these sunshades you see on at the top of the capsule, that kind of white square. We've got one there in the foreground, and coming around you'll see another one on the back. Those windows are so large that it can kind of act like a greenhouse in there, and especially down here in the West Texas desert, it can get a bit toasty in there. So we've got some nice sunshade for their comfort.
And I love that we can see some of the crewmates inside the capsule as they're getting strapped in. I think you could see Lauren Sanchez right to the left of the hatch right there from that camera shot. So pretty cool that you can see them this close to lifting off. Ariane, I have to say,
I might break in.
Profound experience.
Jeff Bezos here.
Yep.
I'm so excited for you. I don't want to get off. I want to go with you. And when you get back, I can't wait to hear how it's changed you. I love all of you. See you soon. Godspeed. Kudatum ferociter.
And there you heard it. Some words of support from Jeff Bezos, founder of Blue Origin, also astronaut himself from our first launch. So, of course, Lauren Sanchez is Jeff's fiance, one of her supporters. But as we mentioned before, we've got lots of friends and family that are supporting the rest of the astronauts here. They are out at the viewing tower. Let's turn it over to Tabitha. Tabitha, have you had a chance to chat with some of the family members out there?
A lot of friends and family have come out here, and it is an exciting vibe. I am standing by with two women who need no introduction. And Chris, I have to start with you. What is it like to be here, and what brought you all the way out here to this launch?
Well, Lauren and Jeff, we're here to support our girlfriend and our friends, and I never thought that we'd be talking to you from a space launch. For sure. So this is a really unique experience, and we're just so honored to be here to support them and watch this amazing part of history. And I'm so proud of her. And I just feel like
all of the female astronauts that are going to go up today. It's such a big day in history, and it's so empowering, especially my daughter is 7, and just to see something like this. And I mean, somebody said their grandfather was here that's 92, then they didn't even have transportation back then the way that we do now, and now they're going to space.
It's pretty amazing. That's Aisha's grandfather, 92, came all the way here.
That's where the story, I was like, I heard this story, and he had no airplanes, nothing back in his day. Now he's seeing his granddaughter go into space. That's a beautiful thing.
Really incredible.
And how does it feel also to be able to share this with multi-generations within your family?
It's really something. It's just Kim keeps writing us because she was supposed to be here with us, and she's studying for law school, so she had a big test that she had to take. Again, something I'm very proud of, but she just keeps calling, going, I have such FOMO, tell me every minute of it. So it's very inspirational, and just super proud of the girls, every one of them. And it's a very brave thing to do, and I think it also just says something, like Chloe said, to my 13 grandchildren. Yeah.
What can you say to that too, for your children?
Oh, I just think it's really whatever you dream of is in our reach, especially in today's day and age. And dream big, wish for the stars, and one day you can maybe be amongst them.
That's so beautiful. And just before I send it back, any last messages to the astronauts before they take off?
I think just great luck. be present. I mean, I'm so excited. I love the messaging that we keep receiving from the staff here at Blue Origin is don't film it through your phones, look through your eyes, be as present as possible. They will supply all the content that we need and to give to our families, but I love just being in the moment.
Yeah, same.
And we're gonna
excited.
Yeah, we're so excited. We're gonna be in the moment too here. We're gonna send it back to you guys at the desk and we're gonna start watching.
Love you, ladies. Good luck.
Bye. We had no idea that Chris and Chloe were going to be here, and we're about to be interviewed by Tabitha. So that was a nice little treat. They sure looked the part, you know.
Oh, they're ready for their day out here in Texas. I love it.
Yeah, and you know, for those of you watching, we're really in the middle of the desert. We're a solid 2-hour drive from El Paso. And as you were saying yesterday, Ariane, you know, you really get the sense like you start in El Paso and the more you get out here, you do start to feel like you're on another planet. I mean, it's got quite a moonscape, Marscape vibe. And our guests that are here today, as we just saw in Chris and Chloe, are dressing the part.
Well, so let's bring it back to the real stars of the show, our astronauts. And one of our astronauts that we haven't heard from yet is Gayle King. She has obviously a lot of emotions going into this flight. Let's hear what she has to say from this interview with Tabitha Limkin just a couple of days ago.
When I made the decision to come, there were only 3 people whose opinion matters to me the most. Favorite daughter Kirby, favorite son Will, and Oprah. That's my kitchen cabinet. And all of them said, I think you should do it. All of them, much to my surprise, including Oprah. I really thought she was going to say, nope, I don't think you should do it.
And she was like, do it.
She said, I really think you should do it because you've been talking about it. And when it comes back and you're not on it, you're going to be kicking yourself saying, I could have gone and I didn't. And I don't want to have to hear about it for the next few years. And, you know, I think everybody in this group is a storyteller and explore, and to be able to take this message and tell other people what it was like from our different perspectives, I think is very significant.
Do you have a message for the kids watching?
You should always know that no dream is too big. You know, we have someone, Aisha, who was told when she was a kid, your dreams are too big, you need to dream smaller. No child should ever be told that. And so I want people to know no dream is too big. And also, LL Cool J said this to me once, dreams don't have deadlines. Isn't that good?
That is real good.
Dreams don't have deadlines. I've never forgotten that he said that, and I believe that as well.
What are you taking up with you?
Oh, I have a bunch of stuff. I have Luca. I wanted one of his favorite toys, so I have a Sesame Street character called Tamir. Tamir is this little black boy with great curly hair, so Tamir gets to go to space. I have a wooden cross that you can hold in your hands. It fits like in 3 prongs. And a stranger came up to me at the airport. She said, I always hear you talk about being a nervous flyer, and I wanted you to have this. And so if you're ever on a flight and you feel nervous, take it out and hold it. So whenever I'm flying, I have this with me.
Also, I just noticed, what is this on your wrist?
So Jared, who's one of our jib operators at CBS Morning, his daughter, Denise, who's 7, made this for me. And she came into my makeup room and said, I made this for you. Someone else gave me astronaut era.
That's pretty great.
Space sister, Amanda just gave me this. I mean, so I feel that I feel I'm pretty well protected.
Absolutely.
I will say this, as excited as I am, I'll be very glad when we come back down. I will be very, very, very glad about that.
Well, clearly we heard Gayle there and prior to coming down here in Texas, nervous and excited at the same time, but one of the things I like about this is that she just makes it real, you know? Regardless of who you are, this is a nerve-wracking experience, and the fact that she's so authentic about it, but also, more so, she is stepping so far out of her comfort zone. I think that in its own right is extraordinarily inspirational.
I think most people would feel the way that Gayle is feeling right about now.
I would.
You're about to launch into space. You know, one of the things that I find so refreshing is that, you know, back in the early days of human spaceflight, you had the Mercury astronauts, and they were all white male military test pilots, and they all had to have the right stuff. You could never talk about nerves or being nervous or your feelings or stuff like that. That was the wrong stuff. But now, in 2025, it is the right stuff to be like Gayle King and talk about those concerns and fears and excitement that you have before launching into space like that. And that really shows you just how much the human spaceflight experience has changed over the last half century or so. And that really is what today is all about. I know there are some people watching this or who have heard about this who are thinking, why should I care about people going into space, you know? Katy Perry, a famous pop star. Why should I care about that? And the reason is, it's missions like this that really begin the process of opening up space to everyone, for all of humanity. That's what today is about.
And I think we have to, it's not just about today. Today is very, very important, but I think also one of the reasons that I love working at Blue Origin is we think in very long time scales. Right? I honestly feel like I'm working at a company that will be here in at least 100 years. And that's how we think about space flight. Oh my gosh, look at that cute little kid. She is ready to go to space too. Aww. I absolutely adore that. But we need to be here precisely for kids like that. You cannot, I am a firm believer that you cannot be it if you can't see it. And that's what this flight is for. It's about inspiring women. Oh, look, talk about inspirational women. Several female astronauts in that group right there. How many astronauts do we have there? I see
4 or 5.
At least 4 or 5 and counting. It's a tight group that's only going to get bigger of those female astronauts there. You see Kelly Girardi and Cyan Proctor. I see Emily Calandrelli, Sarisha Bandla. I mean, just an incredible group of women that have gone to space already. And, after today, in just 15 minutes, we are going to be adding 6 more to that group.
It's getting close, Ariane.
It is getting close. So with that, thank you again, everybody, for joining us for NS-31, our 11th mission, human spaceflight mission to space here. We are at T-minus 14 minutes and 30 seconds, just to give you a little bit of a preview of what is to come. At about T-minus 10 minutes, we are going to have the go, no-go poll. We're going to throw it back to mission control audio. And basically what that is we go through each of the important subsystems, and our flight director, shout out to Michelle Christensen, our flight director, our first female flight director at Blue Origin. She's going to lead that poll, and we're going to go to each one of the groups and say, are you ready to go for this flight? Is your subsystem ready to go for this flight or not? And they will go around the room, and with the final go, no, go, it will be game time here in West Texas for this launch. Look at that. Now, this child is a little younger than you were when your parents went to space.
A little bit older.
Oh, excuse me, a little older, pardon me.
Yeah, because I was just 15 months old when my mom flew in space. And, I think about what it must have been like for her to be a first-time mom and training for her first space flight all in 1 year. And she was a part of NASA's original first 6 women astronauts alongside Sally Ride. Of course, it took them, those first 6 female NASA astronauts, 2.5 years for all of them to fly into space. Now, today, Blue Origin is going to send 6 women into space in a single day. I mean, that's pretty cool right there.
Incredible perspective. Also, was your mom just 6 months? You were just 6 months old when she started training?
She was assigned to her first space flight when she was 8 months pregnant with me. Can you imagine?
God, I have a 6-month-old. I can barely fly down to West Texas from Seattle.
She gave birth to me on a Friday and was back in the astronaut office on Monday. I don't recommend doing that. As a mom of 2 myself, you're a mom of 2, I probably wouldn't do that. But
respect.
She did,
Respect, that's huge.
But I've asked her, I'm like, why did you do that? And she said, because I felt I had to prove something. I felt that I had to, pave a trail for women to come. And so as I'm sitting here today, I'm thinking a lot about what she did, the sacrifices she made to make what's happening today again, it's not normal. Human spaceflight will never be normal or routine, but this is the beginning of making this kind of travel. We got 4 moms on board, a grandmother, making these types of people going into space very routine.
Now, talking a little bit about that, getting back a little bit into the flight profile and what they're going to feel as part of this now routine flight. So the 6 astronauts are currently in the capsule right now, all strapped in, ready to go. Their audio is working. We are waiting for the T-10 here for the go no go poll. At T-0, you guys are gonna, all of us will hear the pop. That's the ignition of the BE-3 engine. It holds down the rocket for about 5, 6, 7 seconds. Inside the capsule, they'll start to see the glow of the flame, and then they will lift off. They will take off. They are in a somewhat reclined seat, and they'll start to feel the G-forces on their body. And so kind of like sitting in a car that's accelerating, it pushes you back against the seat. That's the same here, except they're going up. They will accelerate to they'll have 3 Gs. So here on Earth, we're at 1 G. When you accelerate to 3 Gs, so like if you're 100 pounds, it feels like you're then 300 pounds. But Kristen,
crazy.
It's crazy. But in that reclined position, it's dispersed across your body.
Bad.
It's not as bad. It kind of feels like a weighted blanket. Oh. And then it
nice
eases
and cozy.
up. It's nice and cozy as it gets nice and dark.
I'll take a weighted blanket right about now.
But they're not. Don't worry, it's going to get nice and dark, but there's no sleeping on this. They are going to have the most incredible view out of those windows. The capsule will separate from the booster. That's when they're going to feel weightlessness. They'll get the about 4 minutes to unbuckle, enjoy the weightlessness, enjoy the insane views out of those windows. They'll buckle back in, come back through the atmosphere. That's actually when they're going to have the peak G-forces. They peak at about 5 Gs.
Which is kind of counterintuitive. You wouldn't think that you would feel the max G-forces on the descent, but that's when you do.
But that's when you do, and it's kind of like, because you're coming back through the atmosphere, right? It's thin up there. You come back through the atmosphere. It's thick. It's kind of like diving into a pool. It kind of goes boosh against you at 5 Gs, but then it eases back up. And we deploy the parachutes, and they come floating down at about 10 to 15 miles per hour for a nice soft landing here in the desert. At the last second, there's an air cushion that comes out.
Go. Booster.
Here's go pole.
Go.
Ground. Go. Inco.
Go.
Safety. Go. Capcom. Go. Engineering. Go. This is the flight director. New Shepard is go for launch. Booster, commence terminal count.
Protocol flight.
Yeah, baby. Go for launch. My favorite words.
It's getting real. T-minus 8 minutes and 51 seconds.
Until our 11th human space flight, the first all-female crew flight to space. All 6 of our astronauts are loaded in the capsule, waiting for just 8 minutes and 30 seconds to go here. Now, Kristen, we just kind of walked through the flight profile, what it's going to feel like for our astronauts. Oh, we got Carissa up on the tower to chat with more friends and family. Carissa, who you got out there?
I don't need to introduce the incredible woman. I don't need to introduce the incredible woman next to me, who is a ray of sunshine. Oprah, you are wearing yellow because Gayle's call sign is
sunshine. Yes, right. And all of us, the whole family is wearing yellow today. And I you know, we've been friends. It'll be 50 years next year. We've been friends since we were 21 and 22. And I have never been more proud of my friend than today. Never been more proud, because this is bigger than just going to space. I mean, I think for her, who anytime we're on a flight, she's in anybody's lap if there's the slightest bit of turbulence, has like real anxiety flying. And this is overcoming a wall of fear, a barrier. I think it's going to be cathartic in so many ways for her.
She told us that she was surprised that you told her to do it. Why did you want her to do this?
Because I think life is about continuing to grow into the best of yourself and the fullest expression of yourself. And I think that this is one of the most fullest expressions you can possibly have. And I know that I felt deeply that she would regret it. And I didn't want to hear hear about it for the next 15 years. I wish I had gone, you know, and I said, there's only one time that all the women are going up for the first time. Right. You know, there will be other trips, but there's only one first time.
Incredible.
So to be a pioneer is great.
What was the last conversation you had with her?
I said, peace be still. Hold the God's unchanging hand. He's got you back. That's it. That's it.
I know that we're counting down here. We're getting excited for that go for launch moment. How are you feeling as her best friend?
I feel so calm. I don't think I've ever been more calm because I think it's already done. Once she said yes, once she committed to yes, and Lord, did we all hear, should I do it? Should I do it? Since Thanksgiving, we've been talking about it. And so once she finally said yes, I was like, okay, we're going. It's a go.
You know what I have loved is her vulnerability, because she's the voice of a lot of us that would be afraid, and she's okay to talk about being afraid. Why has that been so important to show that part?
Well, I think, you know, for every woman who's on this flight, it's about fulfilling something within themselves. For Gayle, it's about overcoming this great fear and also stepping into the moment of excitement. And I think, you know, it goes beyond this moment of just going up in space. I think this will be an everlasting experience. I was just thinking this morning, you know, Gayle has been there for me for hundreds of events. I can't even remember them, you know. But you will never forget this day. None of us will ever forget this day.
Well, thank you for being here, for her, for us. I mean, this is just, it's a historic day, and it's only fitting that you are here front and center as a ray of sunshine that you are, Miss Oprah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
No time.
You're next, you know. I'll send it back to you, Ariane.
Thanks, Carissa. Wow, to see Oprah down here. No, I'm not besties with Oprah, not yet anyway, but if Oprah told me to do anything, I would do it. I don't think Gayle had a choice after Oprah said, girl, you got to do this.
She had to do it. Ariane, we are under T-minus 5 minutes until these ladies hopefully launch into space. And, you know, you were just talking about what these women are going to feel when they launch. But let me tell y'all watching what we may hear, because we have one of the most famous singers on the planet on board, and there is a chance that we will get to hear the audio inside and hear what these soon-to-be astronauts are saying and possibly singing while they're weightless. So
I can't wait for that moment. I'm also hoping she comes down to Earth and does like either a Fireworks Part 2 or E.T. Part 2. I think that's going to be, and I think, but let's stick on this point for 1 second, Kristen. I think one of the incredible parts about this crew is their ability to tell the story coming out of this in their own unique way. The way Gayle can go on TV and talk about it. Amanda can go and continue to advocate for women more broadly about it. The way Katy can sing about it, etc. The way Carrie Ann can produce films about it. That is what is so special about this crew in particular.
And that is what's so special about this new era of spaceflight. This is not NASA. This is not governments. It's not the U.S., China, or Russia. This is the commercial era. These are private companies, and this is Blue Origin sending the first all-female crew into space since 1963. And this is all going to happen so fast in just a few minutes, about 10 or 11 minutes from launch to landing. And don't worry, guys, I did the math. In case you're wondering, total duration of this mission is just about 3 Katy Perry fireworks songs. So play that song 3 times. That's how long this mission's going to be.
Fantastic. Well, so at T-minus 3 minutes to go until our 31st launch of New Shepard, our 11th human space flight. Just to tell you what's coming up here. At T-minus 2 minutes, we send the show over to the vehicle. It goes into autonomous mode.
Command engine controller ready to start.
We have our team, of course, in mission control that have their eyes glued to the screen there. There you goes, mission control, quiet and intense. There's one of our crew member 7's capsule communicator, Laura Stiles. She is communicating in the ear of our capsule, in the ears of our astronauts. But what we're going to see in the last 2 minutes, you'll see the fins at the base of the rocket gimbal or just move back and forth. We want to make sure they've got free range. At the base there, you see the nozzle, the engine peeking out. The engine as well is going to gimbal, going to move. both in conjunction together, those two
Pressing propellant
systems.
tanks to flight pressures.
Those two systems guide the rocket.
And when you are out there at this moment, this rocket feels like it is alive. It feels like it is a living,
Retracting sunshade
breathing,
and capsule access
hissing
bridge.
thing, right?
And there's the gantry pulling back from the
T-minus
rocket.
2 minutes and counting. Transition to onboard hydraulic pumps.
And this right here is the moment that they've been training for. 2 days, becoming a crew, becoming a team.
After you go through an experience like this, it's more than a team. It's almost like a family. You are so tight to go through something as intense
Executing
as this.
aft fin built-in test.
And everything looking really good, Ariane.
So far from mission control, everything is clean and green for this launch. T-minus 1 minute to go here.
Engine thrust vector control built-in test in work. Vehicle is now on internal power.
So in a moment here, we'll see those, what they call the bit checks, the built-in test checks. As you mentioned, Kristen, inside the capsule, as you said, this is like a bridled beast. This thing wants to take off.
Switch to onboard helium.
Here we go. Good luck and Godspeed, ladies. We're cheering you on from
Let's
planet
launch
Earth.
this
Thrust
rocket.
termination system is armed. T-minus 22 seconds and counting.
Guidance internal.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, command engine start, 2, 1, ignition. Liftoff. New Shepard has cleared the tower. Flight. 6,000 feet climbing. Begin throttle down for Q limiting. Engine response looks good. Max Q, maximum dynamic pressure. Mach 1, vehicle is supersonic. Engine back up to full throttle.
Supersonic, we have passed through max Q, maximum
Chamber pressures look
dynamic
good.
pressure. That's when the vehicle, the stresses between the atmosphere
Passing
and the
47,000
speed
feet
are
and
at their
climbing.
maximum. So to punch through that is so important. You see the BE3 engines is firing beautifully. You see the stream of steam behind it. Those ladies right now are
1 minute,
having
40
an
seconds into flight.
incredible view on their way to space. Passing through 80,000 feet, 1,300
Passing
miles per
85,000
hour. You're going to peak at about 2,300 miles an hour over Mach 3 times the speed of sound. Shortly coming up, we'll have MECO, main engine cutoff. We will turn off the engine, but the two craft, the capsule and the booster, will continue their ascent to space.
Stand by, MECO.
And our
there you saw the main engine is turned off. We're now going to separate the capsule from the booster, and at that point, Kristen, that's when all 6 astronauts are going to start to feel the weightlessness, and shortly thereafter, we're going to let them unbuckle.
And that right there is the most critical milestone of this whole ascent. Oprah watching her best friend go to space.
And the two craft is separated.
Put it up there.
328,000 feet, 100 kilometers. Welcome to space, ladies, or shall I say, astronauts.
Oh, the moon! You guys, I will have to tell you, look at the moon. Look. Oh, my God! Oh, my God! Oh, my goddess! That's our pink moon. I love you, Jeff Bezos!
And just in case it wasn't clear,
So much.
those are the astronauts. Those are their voices that you're hearing.
And there, they have hit apogee, the highest point in flight, well over 345,000 feet, well over the Kármán line.
Wow.
And at this moment, the astronauts have unstrapped from their seats. They are floating. They are weightless. They are experiencing zero G for the very first time in their lives. And Katy Perry did say that she was going to sing in space. I'm waiting for it.
Waiting for it.
1 minute warning. 1 minute warning.
So that is Capcom indicating a 1 minute warning for our astronauts to take in those last views before they get buckled back into their seats. At this point, both craft are descending already.
Oh my God, guys, wow, it's so peaceful up here.
And you hear
Dragon. Report status.
1, 2, 3, in.
Copy. Whip. Report status. Copy. All astronauts in seat.
And a great piece of news there. All astronauts are back in their seats. You see the two craft now that on the bottom, that is the rocket that is screaming back down to Earth. The rocket will beat the capsule to its landing spot just 2 miles north of where it's taken off from. At the top of the rocket, you see a couple of fins that have popped out. Those are to stabilize the rocket as it comes into land. Shortly thereafter, you will see the drag brakes that deploy that will cut the speed of the rocket in half. And then in the last moments,
and there it is. We can see it from the stage.
There comes the rocket down. It's going to relight its engine. We're going to also see a sonic boom. We're going to hear that shortly here.
And remember, this is something that had never been done before until just a few years ago. Truly the stuff of science fiction that you're about to watch in just seconds.
Drag
brakes.
There we go.
Woo!
Sonic boom. Engine relight. And booster touchdown, welcome home, New Shepard.
Picture perfect landing right there.
Picture perfect landing.
Right on target.
You see that dust kind of creates this dramatic cloud that reveals the beautiful rocket that has just taken these ladies up to space and back.
And I love the echo across the mountains. Is that what I was hearing there?
That's what you were hearing. You heard the sonic boom, then you heard the engine relight, and all of that reverberates in this big, beautiful valley in West Texas.
Stand by drogues. Stand by drogues.
All right, shortly here we're waiting to see the drogue parachutes deploy from the crew capsule. Those are like the guide parachutes. There go the drogue parachutes.
Just free-falling right there until those drogues came out.
And then next will be the main parachutes that get pulled out.
Hear that screaming inside the capsule?
And all 3 parachutes reefing, and they will slowly inflate, slowing the capsule to a nice, smooth 10, 15 miles an hour. They are cruising back home.
3 good parachutes.
And I tell you, Kristen, from having gone through all of the simulations, I have gone through all of the training. They put you in the capsule that simulates all of this, including the sounds, and when you hear the motors of the parachutes pop out, that is the best moment in flight.
Because I know Blue Origin does everything they can to make this as safe as possible, and y'all have an impeccable safety record, but it still has to feel really good when you know that you're coming back to Earth with those parachutes fully deployed.
And we can see the capsule just over our shoulder here, going to be landing north and east of the launch pad, coming down softly and beautifully. 500 feet.
And you will see a puff of smoke when it touches down, a puff of dust. That's normal.
A puff of dust, last milliseconds, air cushion that will kick up the dust. It's a very soft landing despite the sporty perception. There it is.
Congratulations and welcome back to Earth. Do status check. Double shot.
Kristen, just some incredible images there. The capsule.
Copy. Welcome back. Better.
Nice. Let's wait for just a moment here. Make sure they're doing health checks in.
Beautiful. Dragon.
Yes, and as you heard it there, everybody seemed to be just as ecstatic to be back here, back on Earth. Everybody appears to be fine. Beautiful shot there of the capsule down in the desert. As we were just saying, it looks like a tough landing, but it is an air cushion in the last milliseconds that just makes it even softer. I will also note the parachutes landed very close to the capsule. That's just an indication that there's not very much wind out here today. A beautiful day for a launch and landing. A beautiful day to add 6 more names to the roster of astronauts that have been over the Kármán line into space.